Yeah. Yes. So, Brother Eddie?
The only one who could do it, throw the first stone, was Jesus, but he didn't.
Yeah, no. That's true. No, that's true. Brother Jason, did you have something?
Just a minor comment. I think putting it in perspective, when you're in this area, and then a lot of the time you have young people trying to prove a point, they would be probably leaning on the older people for a bit of guidance. So you'd always probably see naturally that the younger ones would probably not lead first, because they're probably leaning on the older ones and going to back them up if they had something to say, right? It's always like that. Who do you lean on for guidance and wisdom? There's probably a mentor. So seeing the old ones leave, I would have seen that would have been a pretty quick transition through, because they would have been looking up to the elders and the wise people for, support maybe. And when you lose that support from the elder, your rebuttal or resistance is shaken a bit more. So I find it fascinating how you see the old ones leave, which makes sense. The other ones would have driven by, because there would have been no support on it.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's just, I just think in practicality, I see that.
It's interesting to see that all the sinful people that couldn't throw a stone because of the question, they couldn't throw a stone, and the one that could didn't.
Yeah. Yes.
And it also shows that Jesus can forgive sins, and his authority is greater than Moses or anybody else in the past. And it was a time of grace as opposed to a time of judgment and the law.
Thank you.
So Jesus, who is both man, fully God, said to the woman, he displayed mercy and justice. He said, I forgive you, and on the other hand, he balanced it out with go and sin no more.
Yes. Yep. The commentary, yes, brother.
Short comment.
Yeah.
The Pharisees and all the crowd, they came because they were thinking, we are good in the eyes of God, we can do it.
Yes.
Jesus told them the opposite.
Yes. Yeah. The shame went back on them.
Shame went back to them.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it was already mentioned about, the older ones. Nobody there was guiltless of something. And even the Ten Commandments, you shouldn't covet or lust after your neighbor's anything, including wife. So who knows how many of these guys thought, wow, I always liked her. I would have had a go if I had the opportunity, right? It doesn't say, but they were not guiltless, obviously. They had sin in their life, whatever it was. And then it said the older ones started, because sometimes when you're young, you think you got it all figured out. And it was the youngest must have left last, the most zealous for something, not even realizing what life's all about yet. Yeah, we're going to stone her good, Yeah. And the older guys thought it through, well, hang on, none of us are guiltless. And that takes maturity and humility that comes from wisdom with age. You realize, it's not as simple as what you think when you're 18.
Yeah. Brother Mick?
Maybe Jesus expected more of the old ones, and the better ones is the names he wrote first. Because it says in 7, they rejected the told him he is the living water.
Yep.
And Jeremiah says they rejected the fountain of youth, and their names are written in the dirt.
Yep.
So that's a process, I think, that was happening there. I walked away.
Yeah. Thank you. Veronique? Sorry.
Back to today, there's room in everyone. There's room in everyone's life.
Yes, that's good. Brother Oscar?
If I'm not wrong, the law of this land says that I should not be taking the law into my own hands. So there is a law, but I should not be taking it into my hands. Yeah. What these people did, they grabbed the law of Moses, put it under their arm, and they soldier on.
Yes.
I don't think that nothing has changed. Yet people still today, they grab and put the law, take the law with them into their own arms and to themselves.
Sorry, Steve.
I think when we look at and reflect upon it, like we have grudges and hurts against certain people that did something against us. But if we think all the things that we've done against others, we can tend to forgive and take it with less sort of seriousness some of the things that people do against us, and we will forgive them because we realise how much we did as well against other people.
Yes.
So I think if we think it that way, we will learn from this lesson that we should forgive and should not hold grudges because we do the same things that other people do against us.
Thank you. Oscar, did you wanted to say something? No. Okay, so the commentary says in my Bible about this, Jesus' answer disarmed them. Since he spoke of throwing a stone, he could not be accused of failure to uphold the law. But the qualification for throwing it prevented anyone from acting without sin. The phrase is quite general and means without any sin, not without this sin. So with his perfect answer, Jesus opened their eyes, showing that none of them were better than the woman. And if they had thrown a stone, they would only have added to their own guilt. What do you think the woman felt once everyone had walked away?
Please repeat the question.
What do you think the woman felt once everyone had walked away? Brother?
She has no words because she looked around, no one is here. Just because Jesus told them, whoever is without sin, throw the first stone. And everyone left and she looked around. There's no one here. What is going on here?
If I was a woman, I'd still be sprinting and be scared because the one without sin that could throw the stone was still there. And I think the greatest relief she had when he said, I do not condemn thee either, is that's when the load came off. Because Jesus had the right to throw the stone because he was without sin.
That's a very good point.
And I think it was Jesus that lets people off the burden of sin, not others.
Oscar?
I have to give him credit for one thing though. They brought a sinner to Jesus. I've got to give him credit for that. They didn't come themselves. That was terrible.
Oh,
Even the motive was terrible, but they did bring a sinner to Christ. And I think that we can learn something good. If anything, I think there was a good deed.
Yeah.
With the wrong motive, but yeah.
Brother Lee?
I can imagine when Jesus said, so neither I condemn you. She fell on her knees and worshipped.
Yes.
Thankfully, cried in tears.
So I don't think the woman heard what Jesus was saying to the crowd, because in verse 9 says, at this, those who heard began to go away, one at a time. So I don't think Jesus was telling the answer loud enough to get to the woman. So I don't think the woman was actually knew what was Jesus saying. But this woman had just experienced a miracle by Jesus. Her execution had been carefully planned to trap Jesus, and a crowd stood there charged with adrenaline, ready to stone her to death. Then Jesus said something that caused the entire crowd to walk away, and the woman was spared. it was a miracle that changed her life forever. Also, it affected those who had come to carry out the execution as well, as at the very least it must have made them stop and think about what had just happened. Do you have any, Jason?
I'm just reading Deuteronomy a little bit more, and it's interesting because if someone is found guilty, I guess the hand of the witness shall be the first against it to put him to death, and afterward the hand of all the other people, so you shall purge the evil from your midst. The question is, the hand of the witness was, if this was truly a case, who was that first witness that saw it and they able to testify at that time and conduct it? Which makes me wonder, is there more to the story? Was it a bit of a ploy? Was the other person that was guilty of sin, was there some relationship there? It could have been set up, but you know, that witness is not part of the discussions, which I find interesting.
Yeah, yes. So we already talked about why did the older man leave first, but in a commentary it says, began to go away because they were not without sin. The older ones, they were the first to realize what was involved. But all the men were either conscience-stricken or afraid, and in the end only Jesus and the woman remained. Then Jesus said to the woman, I don't condemn you either. Go now and sin no more. Does this mean all her sins were forgiven?
If Jesus doesn't condemn anyone for their sins in their life, and he sets them free, they're free from everything. But they should believe in Jesus and follow him. It doesn't matter what happened in the previous life, in the whole time. If Jesus forgives, he forgives completely.
I got the next couple of questions are from the ACC plan. What did the woman do? What caused Jesus to forgive her?
Read it again, please.
What did the woman do that caused Jesus to forgive her?
What did she do?
But yes.
At that moment, nothing. She was just waiting. What will the next step? What will be the next step? She's waiting.
Yes.
Because all the other people are gone. Maybe the disciples were there still because someone had to memorize or write it down in some way.
Yeah.
So she did nothing. She just waited. What will be now?
Yeah. Brother Steve, thank you.
Yeah, I think that's right. She has surrendered her faith, like what will happen to her, to Jesus. All judgment went to Jesus. So she was willing to take whatever the judgment was given to her by Jesus.
So Jesus knew that's what she's going to do after she experienced what happened with her. And that's
Also, her answer,
sorry.
I'm not sure how it is in King James. He asked, who condemned you? She said, no one.
Yeah.
It wasn't really me. You don't understand. You know, oh, it's because of this. I needed the money, whatever. I don't, you know, like, she made no justification or excuse. And maybe she was quiet there, knew that was going to be the law. And like, it doesn't say much about it, but I think her surrender to Christ and not making an excuse for her sin was what counted for the Lord.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Thank you. Brother Mick?
She just agreed to Jesus' question. He said, did no one condemn you? She says, no one. That's basically what she said.
Yeah. Yeah. Jason?
I don't know. Yeah, that question's either a trick question or an interpretation question. I think the story is not focusing on her, it's focusing on the people that want to pass judgment on her, so, and the response of Jesus from that. So, I don't think she really had a part to play. I think essentially it was all Jesus, and it was a response on what Jesus' ministry was all about.
Yes.
The word of God on his word.
Yeah. Eddie, sorry.
As Jesus asked, did no one condemn you? And she said, no one. But she didn't know if Jesus would condemn her.
Yeah.
But maybe she had some experience when Jesus healed people and told them, sin no more. Maybe she heard this, maybe she was there, we don't know, in Jerusalem. And so she was just waiting what Jesus would say now.
Thank you.
So from the time of them being caught to possibly being charged and then found guilty, and then they're going to organize the stoning, I mean, that doesn't happen in a microsecond. Maybe half a day or an hour or whatever time.
Yeah.
So that gives time for a person to reflect, I think. And there's one example in the Old Testament where when people of Israel crossed into the promised land and the one man took something that they weren't supposed to take. His name was Achan. And they were going to put him to death, stone him, I believe, and his whole family, I think it was. Joshua said to Achan, my son, give glory to God, the God of Israel, and give him the praise. Tell me what you have done. Do not hide it from me. It is true, I have sinned against the Lord, the God of Israel. This is what I have done. So he had an opportunity to be honest about it, to confess.
Yep.
Then he was put to death. So this woman too, like in those moments before her stoning was about to come, possibly she was already feeling sad and sorrowful and realized she had broken the law. So there's things behind the scene that we don't know between that person and God. And I'm sure Jesus was aware of that. No one's condemning him, neither do I.
Yep.
And Jesus also gave, examples of exceptions in the Old Testament where, the law wasn't always put into effect fully. People were spared because, mercy triumphed over judgment in some instances in the Old Testament. David should have been stoned for what he did. He wasn't. So we see glaring examples of exceptions in the Old Testament showing God can be very, very merciful if the heart is changed.
Thank you.
When the Lord asked her whether anyone condemned her, according to Eddie's Bible there, she said, no one, Lord.
Yeah.
This King James
Yep.
said no one Lord, and the NIV says sir.
Yep. Says so.
But sir, in England, if you become a sir, you are a lord.
Yep.
So it is the same word.
Okay. Thank you. There's another question here. We kind of answered it, but it's from the ACC plan. Were the Pharisees concerned about the woman's sin, fulfilling Moses' law, or tempting Jesus?
Against Jesus, I don't think they cared about the law that much.
They just used the woman as to trap Jesus. Let's continue. So Jesus forgave this woman and said, sin no more. Does that mean this woman is not going to sin anymore in the rest of her life?
I got a question. So how far are we going to read today?
Until only 11.
Oh, it's only 11.
Yes.
This is the whole, we're not going further?
It's up to us. I still got further, but not fully.
Wondering if maybe we could do a second half of this.
Oh. Okay.
Because you prepared for it, but we're gonna run out of time.
I prepared just a small bit.
Pardon?
I prepared only a small bit.
Okay.
It's not as this
So-
crowded.
This, it says, how does it say in King James? Mine says, go now and leave your life of sin.
King James?
Yeah,
Yeah. Steve, do you have it?
go and sin no more. And the man in John chapter 5, 14, he was healed. Chapter 5, 14, the man healed at the pool. Jesus found him at the temple and said to him, see, you are well again, stop sinning or something worse may come happen to you. How does that read in King James?
Oh, sorry.
John 5, 14.
And it says, afterward Jesus findeth him in the temple and said unto him, behold, thou art made whole, sin no more, lest the worst thing come unto thee.
So I got a question about that, because it's an important point. He said to the woman, leave your life of sin, and to that man, sin no more, both of them, sin no more.
Yep.
So is that a threat, or is that a promise? Is it a threat, or is it a promise that can be possible? As Christians, sin no more or else, or is it a promise you can go on a life of not sinning anymore?
Sorry, Renee?
I
Do you have
think
an answer?
It would be a consequence.
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 Yep.
Like people think that God is going to send them to hell. No.
Yep.
There's a consequence of
Yep.
not believing in Him when He told
Yep.
us the truth.
Yes. Brother Jason?
I think, yeah, sin no more, it's a daily, right? It's a daily thing. Every day we live, we make a decision, right?
Yeah.
Who are we going to be following? And so, are you leaving your life of sin or not? So I think that's the way that it would be that she would be interpreting, or should be interpreting, or I assume would be. Are you leaving your life of sin, or are you going to go back to the same sin as what you've done in the past? This is the question for you.
And I think it's leaving. The option is there now for her to leave it. She could have said, well, that's my livelihood. I sleep with men. Or I've been doing this for 25 years. I can't help it. Whatever. People can make all kinds of excuse. But Jesus gives the option when He doesn't condemn and when He forgives. Now's the option, and go sin no more.
Yep.
I don't mean perfection, that we don't need the Lord's Prayer. But they can come out of that. And we have to see it that way. You can now go and sin no more. And that thing that Jesus has
Yep.
freed you from. Otherwise, He didn't free you from anything.
Yep. She almost died, so I think she learned.
Yeah.
Brother?
Also, Jesus said his words are spirit and power. So when he says something like that, there's power in it, more than likely to make it possible.
Yep. Yes. Yep. Brother Oscar, did you have something?
Yeah, I find it quite interesting, especially in the one that Brother Arnold has read, that he finds this person in the temple. I could understand on the street telling him sin no more.